come around to say hello. One-on-one, I'm so fly. You took a nosedive. Careful when you play on my level. For you, it's so. Hey, hello.
Motorola Razr 50 Ultra. Flip the script.
Hello, Moto.
The Bodh Gaya Temple Act of 1949 has 4 Buddhists and 4 Hindus in the board. Now, 1949 must have been a Congress government then. If you can interfere by appointing non-Buddhists in the Bodh Gaya temple, why did this not, raise any questions in your heart and mind at that time? Why should that be taken as a given? Number one. Number two, if you're saying that, 15 billion US dollars, however much that land is worth, why are Muslims, the larger population of Muslims, still poor? Why are there none of these activities of education, hospitals, etc. going on? Why is this land not capitalized to remove poverty of the Muslims? And when you say paranoia of the Muslim community is legitimate, may I ask you, and may I get Anand Ranganathan into this debate? Anand Ranganathan, the paranoia of other communities, that's illegitimate. When they take over a 1500-year-old temple in Tamil Nadu, the Hindus are not supposed to be paranoid. They should just live with their paranoia, because the Congress, the Samajwadi Party, the India Alliance, the AIMIM doesn't think that Hindus should have any paranoia. Hum unka parliament bhi le lenge, we will take the stadiums away, we will take temples, we will take lands of temples, we will not allow that land to be used by anybody, we will not leverage that land to do any societal good even within the community. But nobody else should have any paranoia. The only paranoia class that is allowed is the political class, which takes all matters into their hands. Certainly not for vote bank politics, I presume.
Good evening, Navika, and good evening to my fellow panelists. Look, I've been crying hoarse for years, you know that unjust, discriminatory, draconian acts are not amended, they are abrogated. So do not amend the Waqf Act, abrogate it, but to no avail. So I think one has to be reconciled with the fact that this government will not abrogate the Waqf Act. Fair enough. At best, and that too after a prolonged CAA-like struggle, looks like it, the amended Waqf Act might come into force and might come into acceptance. I don't know. But the point is, an amended Waqf Act is slightly less draconian than its parent act. So I am resigned to this discrimination continuing. Therefore, I think for citizens like us, the only other logical recourse is for us to ask that such discriminatory and draconian acts be promulgated for Hindus as well, in the form of a Sanatan Act, the exact replica of the Waqf Act. Look, Navika, I think the government is handling it the other way around. I have nothing against the Waqf Board. Nobody should. Why should anyone? Countless boards, charities, NGOs exist. The problem is the Waqf Act, because the world over, disputes over property are settled using existing laws that are community and religion agnostic. So why should a particular religious community be armed with another set of laws, those that are patently discriminatory towards members of the other community, as a primary instrument of defense or indeed offense? Because there is no Hindu equivalent of the Waqf Act. Promulgate one in the interest of equality. Let those who want continuation of the Waqf Act, like Waris Pathan, watch as thousands of Hindus lay claim to thousands of mosques and Muslim villages, and then enjoy the privilege of the disputes being addressed primarily not to the courts, but via the clauses and strictures of the Hindu equivalent to the Waqf Act. Will they allow this? I think even if they don't, at least
I will answer.
The middle way, Waris Pathan, let me just finish. The middle way would be that instead of all this threats of civil war like we saw in CAA, we won't give an inch, we will do blood and all that stuff, let us promulgate a Waqf equivalent act for Hindus. Let Jama Masjid be claimed by that act, and instead of going to the courts, let the muezzins of Jama Masjid and people like Waris Pathan come to the Hindu equivalent tribunal first. तब पता चलेगा इनको एक दिन में
Waris bhai, by that logic, why should you not support a Sanatan board as well? If you don't want any changes in the Waqf Act, then the Hindus should also today start, demanding a Sanatan board and a Sanatan Act. वो चलेगा आपको?
Well, I'll give you an example. The point here is of discrimination, Navika, which you are talking about. Why discriminate? Why you want the other non-Muslims to enter into the Waqf Board and be a part of the religious practice? Why do they want to have the... Now, why do I say this? Because recently, the Tirupati Board, they removed 18 non-practicing Hindu religions. They removed them because they were... Allow me, Anand, I know what you want.
Do you have a problem with the Hindu equivalent of the Waqf Act?
I'll come to that.
I'm asking you for the Sanatan board. We'll come to the second point later. पहले ये बताइए कि अगर Waqf Act है तो एक Sanatan Act होना चाहिए कि नहीं?
Why should...
Simple.
Why do you... No, first we will be on that point. First we will be on the point of Tirupati. Why were 18 people removed from the board who were not...
No, because he has no answer.
Then you don't
he has
want
no
Hindus to be a
answer.
part
He doesn't want to go that route.
To be a part of the Muslim
Sanjay Jha, okay, let me tell you, the Kerala High Court. The Kerala High Court has clearly said that the Waqf Board is not a representative of the entire community. It is only a board that looks at secular activities of the board. That's all. It is not representative of the entire community. So go and file an appeal against the Kerala High Court verdict, and then we'll talk about it. But Sanjay Jha, let me put the same question to you. If you're talking about transparency, then should there be transparency and should there be a Sanatan board? And the party which did the most non-transparent business of handing over 123 Waqf properties before the elections of 2014, talking about transparency, hypocrisy died 1,000 deaths, Sanjay Jha.
Why did they remove 18 people from the board?
Mr. Pathan, let me answer the question quickly.
So why were 18 people removed from the Tirupati board?
Navika, let me just quickly answer your question. First and foremost, I think there has to be this clarity established that the Waqf Board is actually a statutory body and that it functions under the laws of the land. And until we understand that, we will be getting confused because anybody can lay a claim to anything they like, but there is a Waqf Board that functions under the laws of the
Right
land.
now there is, which is why the other communities are saying either make similar boards for our religious activity or remove this or reform this. I want to ask you, where do you stand for other communities like the Hindus and the Buddhists? Should they all have their own separate boards, yes or no?
Well, I'll tell you my answer to that. My answer to that is very straightforward. You asked a question to me. If there is so much of value of the land, why are the Muslims poor? It's got nothing to do with Muslims being poor, because this was only given for religious or charitable organization. It was a social initiative, which is why...
So what is the social work have they done? Gaurav Bhatia, can anybody tell me a big hospital or a big school or educational institution that has been made on Waqf land? Gaurav Bhatia, please respond. Social. Where is the social contribution, my friend?
Narendra Modi made in the...
Gaurav Bhatia. Madrasas, mosques, etc., etc.
So let us first, discuss a few broad points. How Mr. Sanjay Jha today has no argument in favor of not amending the Waqf Act. He first says that the Waqf Board has properties worth 1,20,000 crore. As a citizen, I am saying these properties should be utilized for people like Amanatullah Khan and Kharge ji, who also have actually usurped the Waqf land, or should it be utilized for the 18 to 20 crore Muslims that are in India? And that is why I say the amendment is a necessary action by the government. Two, when he talks about a statutory body, that is the Waqf Board, he needs to understand why was the Waqf Act of 1995 brought. Do you know? It is sheer disgusting, unconstitutional appeasement politics of the Congress that brought this act. And why do I say that? Mr. Sanjay Jha should know. A constitutional remedy of Article 226.
And now what politics...
Please do not speak in between. No, this is not done, Navika.
This government has a problem.
Sanjay Jha, hold on. Allow him to complete. Allow him to complete. Yes.
Yeah, let him answer that. Mr. Vajpayee had no problem, Mr. Modi has.
So Navika,
They're different people and they're allowed to have different agendas.
We know who's
Are you a
playing-
carbon copy of Rahul Gandhi? I certainly hope not.
We know who's playing polarizing politics between
Well,
the two. The highest
can be
level.
said to the other side as
no,
much.
Wait.
So just hold on. Gaurav Bhatia.
Okay. You know, a one-line rebuttal to a very non-relevant remark by my friend Sanjay Jha. Indira Gandhi, Jawaharlal Nehru and Rajiv Gandhi all were opposed to caste politics. Why is Rahul Gandhi then talking about caste census? First, introspect, dwell deep, and then come for a debate, Sanjay Jha. Every government that is elected is led by the Prime Minister and the Cabinet, and they are entitled to change their policies, bring in acts that are for the welfare of the country. But I'll complete my point. See, if he believes that a Waqf board, which is skewed and only has Muslims in its board, and Hindus are not part of it, while the board is deciding the disputes of Hindu properties also, I think it is unconstitutional because Article 226, Article 32, this gives the right to every citizen to move the Supreme Court and High Court. You've deprived that citizen of the right. And third, the appeasement politics from Shah Bano to Shaira Bano, have we not seen how the Congress has treated the Muslims as a vote bank and has not empowered them ever? There were charges against Mr. Kharge that he has usurped the property of the Waqf Board. Now, I just want to say one thing. If you have any points to argue, do that on the floor of the House. The Constitution entails that a bill will be passed if there is majority in the House. If you can try to stop there, make suggestions, but if you fail, then respect the Constitution.